In the late 19th century, the firmest boundaries of human understanding began to dissolve. For generations, the world was strictly divided into what we could touch and what we could only imagine. Then, the invisible began leaving footprints. In 1895, physicist Wilhelm Röntgen noticed a faint fluorescent glow across his lab, originating from a covered cathode tube. He had discovered a new radiation. He called them X-rays. Suddenly, solid matter was no longer an absolute barrier. An entirely hidden world of bone and metal could be penetrated, mapped, and printed onto glass plates. Shortly after, Marie Curie's work with radium proved that seemingly inert, empty space was actually buzzing with measurable, potent atomic energy. With ether, radiation, and magnetism now recognized as physical realities, researchers realized the air around us was thick with unseen forces. This prompted a radical question. If we can photograph the invisible energy of an atom, can we photograph the invisible energy of a human thought? We usually treat our minds like sealed vaults. We assume an emotion, a sudden surge of anger, or a deep wave of affection, is a private, ephemeral flash, locked safely inside our skulls. In 1905, researchers Annie Besant and C.W. Leadbeater published a text titled Thought Forms, aiming to challenge that assumption entirely. Their central claim was blunt: thoughts are things. They proposed that every mental impulse generates a physical, vibrating projectile of living energy, expanding outward into the real world as light and geometry. In 1905, this appeared not as mysticism, but as the absolute cutting edge of empirical science, the attempt to capture consciousness itself on film. Across Europe, investigators like Dr. Hippolyte Baraduc in Paris began insulating darkrooms from heat and electricity, placing highly sensitive photographic plates near subjects to capture astro-mental vibrations. They were looking for the chemical effect of vibrations produced by the gray matter of the brain. To understand their mechanics, you can look at acoustics. When you draw a bow along a metal plate covered in sand, sound vibrations force the chaotic grains to leap into precise symmetrical geometric lines. Besant and Leadbeater argued that the brain operates exactly the same way. Every distinct thought triggers a radiating vibration, a mental wave sweeping outward like a stone dropped in a pond. But it doesn't just radiate, it builds. These outward vibrations gather surrounding subtle matter, pulling it into a living geometric vehicle known as a floating form. In this framework, your brain is a relentless mechanical factory. You are constantly translating invisible mental impulses into physical architecture, ejecting thousands of microscopic structures into the air every single day. These structures follow strict laws of translation. The mind acts as a prism. The emotional quality of the thought determines its specific color, while the nature of the intention dictates its physical shape. Sudden, explosive anger generates a tangible, jagged structure. It manifests as a stiletto-like dart of lurid red, violently erupting from a base of dark, muddy selfishness. Conversely, selfish ambition or greed creates dense, muddy green-brown structures. Because the mind is trying to pull something toward itself, the resulting form develops aggressive, re-entering curves and sharp, claw-like hooks designed to grasp. Pure, unselfish affection behaves entirely differently. Without the need to pull anything back, it throws itself boldly outward, forming a vibrant, translucent, rose-colored projectile that cuts cleanly through the atmosphere. When emotions become highly complex and layered, such as the mental state induced by playing classical music, the resulting forms become massive. Every chord and arpeggio interacts to build towering, kaleidoscopic architectures of sound hundreds of feet into the air. The researchers noted that a piece by Richard Wagner, played on a powerful church organ, constructs a colossal bell-shaped mountain range of flashing color, rolling with billowy clouds and jagged peaks. Whether it is a towering symphony or a brief flash of irritation, your specific emotional state dictates the exact aerodynamic drag, structural integrity, and color signature of the objects you constantly eject into the world. Pull back to the modern implications of this theory. We inhabit a dense, unseen atmosphere of our own making. Every crowded street, in every office, in every home, is a thick smog of overlapping, colliding thought forms, generated by the quiet anxieties, hidden resentments, and private joys of everyone around us. When someone operates in a state of blind panic or intense anger, they are throwing off explosive, jagged fragments of livid gray and red matter. These act as literal shrapnel. They ricochet off the auras of calm individuals, but eagerly embed themselves in anyone already harboring similar frustrations. But a concentrated thought of love or a genuine desire to protect someone acts entirely differently. It seeks out its target and remains in their orbit as a shielding, pulsating cloud, a literal, physically constructed guardian angel that strengthens friendly forces and deflects hostility. If thoughts are things, if they have geometry, mass, and velocity, then every private feeling carries a profound physical and moral responsibility. You are an architect, building the unseen environment around you. So take a moment to look at your current state of mind and ask yourself, what shapes are you filling the room with right now?